Right. We're having a bit of technical glitch setting up our life. I know that think we are up now. Okay, welcome everyone. Am I audible enough, please? If you can hear me, drop in the chat section that you can hear me. I'm happy to have us this night. We are starting a series, we are starting a journey. Welcome, I can see you. Okay, all right, yes, thank you. We will be starting a series this night. This series is as a result of what I can call popular demand. It's a season where some persons are passing out, some persons are going into the labor market, and this series is very, very important. It is to help guide fresh job seekers, fresh graduates, on how to effectively navigate the 21st century labor market. Please, I want us to get this night. Before I commence, my name is Franklin. Some of us already, you know me, I'm a human resource manager, I'm a recruitment consultant. At the same time, a tech consultant, major in data science, and also a business consultant. All right, tonight we will be starting a series of job interviews and CV masterclass. How do you navigate the job interviews? How do you first even craft out a CV that will even earn you that job interview? It's a very important stuff that we have to master. It's a very important thing that we need to be aware of. Tonight I will be starting a journey that we have to take us for a minimum of 7 days. And tonight, what the first we need to start from is that which gets you on the interview panel. And that is how to craft out a CV, how to draft out a resume. Mind you, a CV is different from a resume. And tonight we are going to be establishing those facts. And then we move to the next, which we have as the previous section. And after that, tomorrow or on Monday, I will be walking us through. Please, if you know anyone that is having difficulties on drafting CVs, most of you already know me. I write CV for persons, and on one touch, they get the job interview calls. I have written CVs for many persons, and every now and then I receive the same good news, both for master's scholarship abroad, both for job recruitment. So if you know anyone who is having difficulties getting job interview call, let the person be available. Most likely on Monday, I will be sharing my screen, and we will be going together hand by hand in drafting out a CV that is ATS compliant, at the same time that is human friendly. But this night I will be walking us through on what makes a CV to be a CV that is highly needed, or what makes a resume to be highly needed. What are the things you need to look out for in drafting your CV, and how to be able to draft out a good CV. Now let's begin this section this night by having to talk about starting with the difference between a CV and a resume. They are both the same. In fact, for fresh job seekers, for fresh graduates, it will be difficult to distinguish your CV from a resume. But this night I will be giving you certain tips that makes one to be a CV and the other a resume. Now, what's a CV? CV fully means curriculum vitae, and that is a brief history of your life, of your achievement, of what you have done in life. Whereas resume is what focuses mostly on your work path or your career path. It doesn't give room for any other details. It's majorly to your work experience in your career path. Now, a CV, what are the difference between a CV and a resume? You get this? A CV can be more than 2 pages. A CV can be more than 2 pages. I want us to get that. A CV can be more than 2 pages. But let me state this tonight. For fresh job seekers, even those that have little or no work experience, relevant experience, 2 years, 3 years, 1 year experience, your CV should not be more than 2 pages. Why? It has to be very easy for a HR to go through or an ATS to screen. So, but however, those who have gone far in their career, their CV can be more than 2 pages. A resume is maximum of 2 pages. So the difference between a CV and the resume, one is the CV can be more than 2 pages, a resume is maximum of 2 pages. How also a CV follows a chronological order. A CV follows a certain chronological order, while a resume does not. Does not follow a chronological order. And thirdly, CV is mostly British oriented, while resume is mostly American oriented by research. Now, having established these facts, we move to what I tagged the pre-CV writing stage. The pre-CV writing stage. Every writer will tell you that before you proceed in writing that book, before you proceed in writing whatsoever you want to write, you need to first research about the topic you are writing. So before you go ahead in writing a CV, you need to first of all research about the CV you are to write. Please get this night. You are not to prepare one CV and then send it across to different organizations. Please, if you are one that just have one CV and be spreading it around, that might be the loophole you are having in your job search. Please get this, there are secrets to securing jobs, and these are things by next week I will be unveiling them one after the other, that within, if you effectively apply them, I guarantee you, within the next 3 months, you are going to secure your job, I guarantee you that. And that is why I put up this masterclass. Most persons are coming here, please help me secure a job, help me talk to persons. I tell them I don't give these jobs. I don't put persons, my reputation is at stake. I don't give this job. It's only I recommend to you, these are certain things you need to arm yourself with. And I'm going to unveiling them, I will be unveiling them next week. But most importantly is your CV. So you need to first of all research. Go about and research about the job, about the organization, about yourself. Most challenge we have, I have discovered in my years of practicing HR, in my years of reviewing CV, is that I see people who don't even know themselves. So in research, there are 3 key areas you research. First, you research about yourself. Secondly, you research about the job. And thirdly, you research about the industry. Now, when I talk about the industry, I mean the company and both the competitors and within the market forces. Those of us in management and strategic management will understand what I mean by the market forces. In customer relationship management, as we go through the management course, I will be unveiling to us what we mean by the market forces. But as one who is drafting your CV, please get this, you need to make your research. That's what we have, the pre-CV writing stage. Now, what are the things you need to research? What are the things you need to research? Now, you need to find out where does my strength lies. What are the things I have? What are the skills I have that is in relation with the job? Every job is not for you. That's why we need to tailor our search. Every job is not for you. Make that decision this night. That every job is not for me. There is this particular kind of job I'm looking for. This is the sad stuff I'm looking for. So every So what you are to do is that first you research about the company, you research about yourself, you research about the industry. Now, apart from that, the next thing you do is whenever you see any job advert, please, there are certain things you study, and I'm going to list them out this night. First of all, make no mistake about that. Know the name of the company you are applying for. Some of us watching me this night can bear me witness that sometimes when you go for an interview and you are asked the name of the organization you apply for, most times it becomes so difficult for some of us to deal with. Most times it becomes so difficult for some of us to deal with. And why is that so difficult for some of us to deal with? Because we neglect that. Find out, get the name of the company you are applying for. Don't just know their first name. If it's a company that have 2-3 names, master their name fully. I remember having an interview session with someone, and the person, no, it's not an interview session. The person is giving me feedback on a job interview session, on a job interview he or she went for. It's not a he, rather she went for. I asked her, do you know the name of the company you know? He said, of course, now it's GT Bank. I said, yes, it's GT Bank. What's the full meaning of GT? And she was just stunned and was like, GT, I didn't really know. I asked him, had it been they asked you, what's the name of this bank? You will say GT Bank. And that is one of the challenges most persons have. Please get this, know the name of the company you are applying for. Please, know it as if you know your name. It's very, very important. Number 2, you need to study when writing your CV is the company location. In one of my videos on YouTube and on Facebook, I stated stuff like that. I think in one of my reels or shorts on YouTube or Facebook, I stated stuff like that when you are applying for a job, when you are drafting your CV, the location of the company you are applying for is very important. The location is very important. Don't just use one location and be applying for every job. Get this, if you are a recruiter and you are seeking to employ people, you will really have to kind of first employ those who or you first have to call those within. You will first of all call those within the system, within the space, within the place you are working, your company is located. You can agree with me on that. You will first of all do with that. So in drafting out your CV, please make no mistake about this. Get to understand the name of the company, understand the location. Where is that company located? Where are they located? And use the location, use the address within that location as in your CV. If, for example, you are applying for a company in Lagos or you are applying for a company in Abuja, please make no mistake about this. Use Abuja address, use Lagos address as address on your CV. That is very, very, very important. Don't joke with that. Then the next thing you are to be able to study, the next thing you need to study in every job advert is to understand the duties and responsibilities of that job. In your CV writing, you have to study and find out the duties and responsibilities of that job. What is the employer talking about? What's the message of the employer? What do they need? What is the duty of that? What are the duties of that job? What are the responsibilities that every prospective applicant, any prospective candidate is going to address? So if you are applying for a job and you see that yes, these are the duties and responsibilities, and you will ask yourself, if I'm the recruiter, what are the necessary skills the person ought to have in order for he or she to secure that position? So study the duties and responsibilities. The next thing you need to study in every job advert is to of them will put it in job specification. Some said it's job description. Study the requirements. What are the requirements? Now, we are looking for a young, dynamic, vibrant graduate. That should tell you that they are looking for persons of a young age, and that should tell you that you need to put your date of birth or your age on your CV, being a young graduate. That should tell you that your age is an added advantage. This is where most of us make mistakes, and we follow different stuff we see every here and then. Your age doesn't matter. Don't put your age on your CV. I have tackled some of these challenges, and I established the reason why these things are relative. It doesn't. Your age is not necessary. Your gender is not necessary. No need of putting your state of origin. There are certain things we need to understand, that geographical location differs in recruitment. There are certain things that is obtainable in Nigeria, in Africa, that are not obtainable in Europe or in US or Canada, as the case may be. So within a geographical location, understand stuff that are obtainable. And when in this geographical location and they say young, vibrant, innovative, that should tell you that in my CV, my age is necessary. That should tell you that. So while you are drafting your CV, study these silent points. Understand the message the recruiter is passing across. In your CV writing, you study this. What is the language of the employer? What is the employer speaking? What is the language of the employer? They are looking for a young, innovative, and resourceful graduate. That should tell you that they are telling you the kind of persons they are looking for. And those things are what we call keywords. So you study the requirements of the job. Now, having said that, the next thing you need to study that most persons don't pay attention is what we call mode of application. How does the recruiter or how does the employer ask you to send the application? Some of us, we do this, we just, because we know the company, we went directly and submit. And then when you submit it, because I know the don't necessarily go through. So understand the mode of application. If they say send your CV via Word format, MS Word format, please don't go and put it in PDF. If they say send via PDF format, don't put it in Word format. Understand the mode of application. If they say send your CV only, don't go and attach cover letter. But mostly companies will allow you to put your cover letter. In fact, I will be telling you that I will be unveiling as we run on Monday in regard to CV. You will be seeing certain things as regards to mode of operation or application. Please get this, study. How do they want us to send this application? How does the company want us to send this application? These are certain things we need to study, find out before we proceed to writing that CV. So study these things, master these things, get to understand it, then we can now move to the next stage we call the writing stage, the CV writing stage. And by the end of this series, every participant here must have their CV well written and well formatted. Is one thing I'm out for this period is to help graduates to be able to secure job interview calls and then to scale it. At the end, every participant, everyone who participated from the beginning of this course till the end will be able to get their professionally written CV that can earn them any job interview call, and will be able to know how they can effectively edit it to suit any job. Before I proceed, I will have to tell you that every job is not for every CV. Your CV is not for every job. Every CV is meant for a specific job. Hence, your CV ought to be targeted for a particular job. So having dealt with this, I will be moving to the CV having researched about the job, having researched about the company, having researched about yourself, having understood the duties and responsibilities, having understand the job requirements. Now this is the time for you to go to writing this CV proper. That is this the time to go in writing this CV proper. And how do we draft out a CV? Now let's move to the ethics of CV writing. If you are writing, you can write them down to the ethics of CV writing. Number one, when you are drafting out your CV, have this at the back of your mind, what we call originality. Originality. In drafting your CV, have this at the back of your mind on what we call originality. And what is this originality? Originality is simply that you maintain consistency. How do I mean? From the beginning to the end. Don't use area and use Times New Roman and later you use impact font style. No. Maintain the same font style. Professionalism is in simplicity. When the recruiter looks at your CV and see how simple, how straightforward, how easy the CV is, he or she will be well motivated to go through in going through your CV at a glance. And it makes it easy for you to read. You as a person that wrote it, it makes it easy for you to read. Most times we write our CVs and we read them, we ourselves we see, this CV is clustered. So the first thing you do in writing your CV is you maintain originality. Use the same font style, use the same font size, use the same bullet. That will lead me to the aspect of saying you don't number your CV. You bullet your CV. You don't number your CV. You bullet your CV. Don't use number. In writing your skills, you begin to number your skills. No, you bullet them. So in originality, I repeat, the same font style, you maintain the same font size, you maintain the same bullets. And that gives your CV high level of professionalism. That gives your CV high level of professionalism. Now, apart from that, in writing your CV, another thing you need to understand is that in writing your CVs, you need to break your CV into sections. Let your CV be clearly written in sections. Let it be clearly written in sections. And what do I mean in section? Having subheading. Let it be clearly written in sections. Another thing I will be talking about in some aspect in writing CVs is in your formatting. If you are following me on Facebook, you will notice, you would have heard when I talked about right formatting. This is where it makes it easy for an ATS to read. When you format rightly, it makes it easy for the human being to read. In other words, to be ATS and human friendly. So in the right formatting, what is right formatting? Arranging your CV, arranging the content of your CV effectively so that it can be easily read by a human being and by software. And what is ATS? ATS is a software that HR organizations use in screening CVs. Mostly now, most companies now use the ATS software to screen CVs. Why? Because it helps to save time. The time that the person should have used in checking the CV, the ATS will do that. And what are these software programmed with? The softwares are being programmed with the employer's need. And that's why you need to study the job advert. And that's why you don't need to just send CVs anyhow, anywhere. You need to tailor your CV according to the employer's need. because most organizations use this software called ATS, and ATS is programmed to search out for CVs that meet the employer's need. And that's what we call keywords optimized ATS CV. The CV that met the ATS software's demand. Once your CV is ranked 70% above, then your CV have passed ATS. And some of us might ask, what is this ATS? ATS is what we call applicant tracking system. We refer to it as applicant tracking system. That is ATS. So it helps the company, the HR, to track applications and know the ones to call and the ones not to call. So in drafting your CV, right formatting is very, very essential. Let the date be on one side. Let the date you finish school, the date of your work experience, the date of your leadership and stuff like that, let them be properly aligned on one side. And please remember to justify your CV. Very, very important. Remember to justify your CV. Very, very important. If you understand in Microsoft Word, when you use to prepare document, you justify, Ctrl J. Just remember to justify your CV. Now, having established this, we are now going to look at writing of your CV, different sections of each sections in your CV. We are going to be looking at each sections in your CV and the content it ought to contain. The content of each section. Number one is your title, the title of your CV. Now, most times, most of us write a curriculum vitae on top. Curriculum vitae on top. No. You don't start writing your CV by writing curriculum vitae. No. It's a title of your CV. The title of textbook is not textbook. The title of the textbook is the name of the textbook. If you are writing a book, is the name you give to the book, is not the book itself. So in writing a CV, you don't say that the title of the CV is curriculum vitae. So what is the title? What is the title section made up of? The title section consists of your name, your full name as an individual, your full name. The title section consists of your full name, one. It consists of your address, contact address, physical contact address. That's what it consists, physical contact address. Consists of physical contact address. That's where I mentioned earlier. You need to study, know the location of the company. What is the location of the company? And you use you use an address within that company location in order to apply. You use that in order to apply. Look for someone, if you are not within that location, look for someone you know, and a relative, a friend that you know, in order to apply for that job. Use their address. Tell the person, please, I want to use your place for an address in my CV I'm sending out. Now, having established that fact, then the next in your title is what we call your digital contact address, your phone number and your email. That's the stuff we have. The next line, the first line is your name. Below your name is your contact address. Then after the contact address is your digital contact address. That will speak well of you, that will sell you so high. You put your LinkedIn profile, you put your LinkedIn as on that line as well. Your phone number, your email, and your LinkedIn account. That the employer can go and look at, understand your portfolio, know your profile, and from there they take it up. Then below it is your biodata. The first, your name, second, your physical contact address, third, your digital contact address. Then fourth, within that title, within the title of your CV, is your biodata. That is where you study the job advert, know the kind of personality they are looking for, know the kind of persons they are looking for. A young, dynamic, vibrant, innovative candidate, then you know that your age is important. If it's a job that is mostly femininely related and you are a female, for example, a job of a personal assistant, secretary, customer service representative, and you are a female, you know that your gender is an advantage. You put in your gender and your age, and then for fresh graduates, I'm saying this, for fresh graduates who recently finished, and you are under this session, remember to put your marital status, and most likely if you are single, because the most jobs for graduate interns are jobs that will warrant them to travel. Most times we move from one place to another, and being single is an advantage. Make no mistake about that. So this is the section of the title in your CV. That's the things that are contained in the title of your CV. Now, after that, the next is the aspect we call professional summary. That's the next. We call it professional summary. This is the aspect, some of you in your CV now, is the aspect that you have to be a career objective or personal statement. Some persons still use it. Some persons in this time still use it. But I strongly recommend that you use professional summary instead of career objective or personal statement. And what is this professional summary? This is one of the vital aspects of every CV. It's a summary of your experience. It's a summary of your achievement. It's a summary of your skills. It's a summary of your knowledge, academic endeavor. So your professional summary should be something that will be centered in this regard, that have a high relationship with the job. You are not putting a professional summary you have of a particular line, and you are applying in in another industry that is absolutely different from where you're coming from. That is why I said earlier that every job is not for you. Every job definitely is not for you. So when you are applying for a job, you have to carve out your professional summary that is highly related to the job. Is a summary. And when I teach this, every now and then I teach this, I use a sales copy as an example. Let your professional summary be like a sales copy. Let it be something that will compare the recruiter to invite you for an interview. Craft out a compelling professional summary with proofs, with achievement, with the records of what you have done, the skills you have, and the knowledge you have acquired over time. And some of us fresh graduates might ask, well, me that have little or no work experience, how do I put in the achievement? During your academic work, you have certain achievement. During your internship programs, you have achievement. During your volunteers work, you have achievement. Carve them, package them, and put them in your professional summary. And these things are very, very important because they say seeing is believing. So you make your professional summary in a way that it will be compelling and attractive to the prospective employer, so that he or she will give you a call. And I say this, let your professional summary not be more than 5 lines. Don't allow it to be more than 5 lines. In fact, I recommend maximum 5 lines. Most times I don't move more than 5 lines. 4 or 5 lines I'm done in crafting a professional summary. Please note that. Then after your professional summary comes your academic qualification, or what you call educational qualification. After your professional summary comes your academic qualification, or what we call educational qualification. And what are the things that are supposed to be in your educational qualification are those qualifications that follows a certain pattern in the educational system. In our educational system, we followed through the system of 6334. 6 years prior of the degree stage, the university stage. That's it. Then anything outside that that maybe after your graduation you did a postgraduate, you did post-certification course in HRM, in project management, in customer relationship, HSE, as the case may be, ICT, other skills acquisition. That shouldn't fall under your academic qualification. Now, having said this, how do you write your academic qualification? Don't put it a qualification obtained with date, institution at your CV. You will just scrap out your CV. That will push it off. So having established that, you will have to use myself as an example. If I'm to write my academic qualification, I will start by saying BTech. Under the educational qualification or under academic qualification, I will start by saying BTech, mathematics and computer science, Federal University of Technology, Owerri, Imo State, full stop, then the year of graduation. Don't say from 2020 to 2024, no, or from 2019 to 2023, no, that's wrong. The year you graduated, don't say from so year to so year, no, that year of graduation, the year that is on your certificate, that's the year you use. Then after that, your SSCE certificate. In fact, when I draft a CV for some persons, especially the working class, I don't even put their SSCE certificate. I don't even bother putting it because that SSCE certificate is not really needed at this time. So when we talk about this section, what we are talking about is that you can use your SSCE, but you might not need it. However, if you are applying for a federal government job, state government job, I will encourage you to put your degree, your second. Very, very important. Note that it's very important for government jobs. For those methods are being considered in some cases. So, but normally, ideally, your degree and your SSCE is enough. Then after that, we move to the one we call additional certifications or professional certifications. So under that additional certifications or professional certification or other certifications, that is where you put all the certificates, all the trainings that you are certified. You are during your service year, during your internship year, you did trainings and you are certified. You did the IT training, you are certified. You did a training in management, you are certified. You did a training in fashion, you are certified. They are all to appear on this session. Certified in this. For example, I will say certified in human resources management profession, then the organization, the institution that certified me, and the year that I got that certification. That is how we draft this. That's how this session is drafted. And please note, it comes in the reverse chronological order. In other words, it comes with the most recent. It comes from the most recent. However, what that means is that the one that you just obtain now will be first. Then you start moving down. That's why in your academic qualification, if you go for masters and you have your master's degree, you start from the master's degree and move down. That's what we refer to as the reverse chronology. It's reverse chronological order. That's the way it follows. So when you are writing that the year you got that certification, all the certification, this is the format it ought to follow. Certified in this, certified in that, the institution that certified you, then the location that institution is, and then the year you got that certification. That is how this session is being drafted, and in a highly formatted way, in a highly formatted pattern. That is how we drafted this session. Now, having said that, after this session, the next session, especially for fresh graduates, is what you you have as skills/personal attributes. Skills/personal attributes. Now, what do I mean by skills/personal attributes? Is this that under that your skill set at the same time your personal character. If you are one who is a strong communicator, those are certain aspects we refer to as skills and personal attributes. You have strong integrity. You are an honest person. You are someone who can lead a team. Those are under skills/personal attributes. However, I have had some persons say that use skills that are only related to the job. In as much as that is true, you are to ensure that skills that are related to the job are on your CV. That is non-negotiable. However, I strongly recommend to every fresh graduate. This is a strong recommendation for fresh graduates. Every fresh graduate will have to put all skills, every skill you have, whether it's related to the job or not, ought to appear on your CV. Any job ought to appear on your CV. I remember I was in an interview section years back, and we are having this interview, and one of the persons who is the lead HR in that organization where we are consulting for looked at a CV of a guy and saw hairstylist under that skill session. And the lady asked the guy, how good are you as a hairstylist? The guy responded that he's very good in hairstylist. And then, why are you applying here? He said he loves banking, he wants to pursue a career in banking. And he asked the guy, okay, recommend a hairstyle for me as a person. The guy recommended a style. After that, the woman asked him, how well can you do this style? Can you do this style effectively? And the guy answered confidently. He said, I can do it very well, but with my eyes closed. With my eyes closed, I can do it very well. And the woman stops there. I need not to tell you that during the time for recommendation, the woman single-handedly recommended that person, that we should endeavor to put the name of that person in the next phase of the interview. And after that interview, the rest is history. The guy got the job. Why? Because he has extra skill that attracted that woman. I don't want to guess anything. I don't want to suspect anything. But you need to understand that certain things can move certain persons. So, as a fresh graduate, every skill you have and you can defend is important and has to reflect on your CV. Imagine you have fashion designing skill. You can sew very well. And you apply in a company that does productions and have their sales promotions and all that. You might be thinking, how does fashion designing relate to a manufacturing company, a big manufacturing company as that? But let me tell you, sometimes they do promotions, sometimes they need someone who will supervise what they are doing. And once the person who has such skill is there, the person will be ready. It's not that he's the one that will sew it, but he's the one that will supervise and ensure they get quality for their money. So that skill alone can even give the person an edge over the next person he or she is competing the job with. So every skill you have is important and you have to reflect on your CV. However, those top skills that are highly related to the job have to come first. You need to put them first. Then those other ones that are less related comes later. So after your academic qualification, additional certifications, then the next is your skills/personal attributes. And every time I recommend 6 skills, In fact, these are top 6 skills that every recruiter looks for in every prospective applicant. 6 top skills. Number 1 is every time I have the opportunity to talk to audience, graduates, and that I I always say this. 6 skills that must be in every CV. One of them is ICT skill, tech skill. Every graduate of the 21st century of this tech age must arm him or herself with the tech skills. And the tech skills are subdivided into 3. We have the mandatory tech skills, we have the specific tech skills, we have the general tech skills. Equip yourself with tech skill. Number 1, that's the first skill you must reflect on your CV. In fact, ensure you have a tech skill that is related to the job you are applying for. You are applying as an accountant, do you know accounting softwares? You are applying as a medical scientist, do you know data analysis softwares? You are applying as an engineer, can you use cards? These are tech skills that are highly related to your job, to the position you are applying for, that will help score your CV very high. Get tech skill. Number 2 is managerial skills. Get this, every organization needs leaders, need managers. Every organization needs managers. One of the core essence of organization, in fact, the decision makers are managers. And those who have managerial skills can make decisions not at the top, but at least at a sub-level. They can be assigned to lead teams. They can be assigned to supervise certain projects, certain processes, and they will be able to manage the process effectively. And so those who have managerial skills are highly sought after. And there are 3 most recognized managerial skills across the globe. There are other ones, many of them, but these 3 stands out. Number 1 of them is human resources management. In fact, due to every organization has a human element and needs someone to manage this complex element called human being. Number 2 is project management, highly sought after across the globe because every organization handles projects. Number 3 is customer relationship management because every organization deals with customers. In fact, now customers have moved from the place of being king to the place of being gods. Customers now are not just kings, they are gods. So because customer can fire someone, customer can terminate your appointment. Most times it's not even your boss that terminates your appointment, it's the customers. So these 3 managerial skills are highly sought after. Get yourself managerial skill. Number 3 is communication skill. Communication skill. Most challenges in the workplace are as a result of ineffective communication. Research has shown that. So build your communication skill. Number 4 is interpersonal skill. Learn to easily interrelate, form a team, build friendship, build harmony among persons. Interpersonal skill. Number 5 is leadership skill. Show leadership capability, show leadership quality. And that is why if you have been in any leadership position, let it reflect on your CV. We are still getting to that aspect. Then number 6 is team player. Be a team player. Show you have been in a team. Show you have been a team player. And that's why if they ask you what are some extracurricular activities you have engaged into. Let's say in an interview, they ask you what are the extracurricular activities you have engaged into. Use extracurricular activities that promotes team spirit, that promotes creativity, that promotes innovation. That's why if there are what extracurricular activity you have been into, I have coordinated a school team, I have coordinated a departmental team. It promotes team playing, it promotes leadership ability, it promotes creativity, it promotes innovativeness. So, and also it shows your leadership ability if you are one who coordinates. So these are 6 top skills that must be on your CV. If you don't have them, go and develop them. That's on your skill. Then amongst that with other relevant skills as regards to the need of the job. Then after that, we move to your work experience. These are sections of your CV. These are sections that are to be on your CV. So we are finished with the skill set, with the skill session. The next section is the professional experience or work experience or your experience session. Any of these can go. So in the work experience section, you start from the most recent. You're a fresh graduate, you served, you have your community service, your NYSC, your community service. That is the first. That's where it starts. Remember, we've maintained consistency, reverse chronology from the most recent. You are starting your work experience session from the most recent. So you begin with the position. For example, I can say human resources manager, so organization, the location of the organization, and then the year I started and the year I ended. Please get that. The year I started and the year I ended. That is how it goes. The position you have worked in, the organization, the department, yes, the position, the department, the organization, the location of the organization, and the year and the month you started, and the month and the year you ended. The month and the year you started, the month and the year you ended. That is how it will be in your work experience. Then after that, below it is where most persons make mistakes. This is where most persons make mistakes, below it. Below it, most persons will begin to write duties and responsibilities. Please, we are not interested in your duties and responsibilities. We recruiters, we are not interested in that. I have to tell you that. We are not interested in that you prepared a meeting report. I attended to the customer, I attend to customers and stuff. No. What we are interested in is what are your achievements. While you are on that job, what are your achievements? What can you say are your core achievements? What can you say are the things you achieved? Those are what we are interested in. What can you say that these are things you achieved? So when you prepare your work experience, under it you put key achievements. If you're a teacher, you teach during your community service, during your NYSC, you can say that you implemented a learning strategy. You implemented a learning pattern that enhances students' academic performance by 40%, by 60%, by 70%, by 20%, 30%, as the case may be. You initiated a certain program that enhances customers' service by 20%, thereby improving customer retention of the organization. Those are what we want to hear. That's what we refer to as key achievement. What were you able to achieve that impacted on the organization positively? Those are what we want to hear. Not that I attended to the customers, I prepared daily reports. No. What are you can say you design a system that enhances reporting to be done efficiently, thereby reducing the work time and improving efficiency by 15%. Those are achievements. So under your work experience, when you write the things you do, then below it you put what are your key achievements. You bullet them, you write them one after the other. This is where whenever I'm writing CV for persons, I looked at this place. Most persons don't get it really right. This is where I take my time to craft out from what is their duties and responsibilities, and from there I craft out key achievements. So if you are preparing your CV on this section, endeavor not to put your duties and responsibilities you teach you that you wrote lesson notes and stuff like that. No. Put what the key achievements you did under this work experience, and remember it's from the most recent. And some of us might say, I don't have work experience. What do? I don't have work experience. Your community service is work experience. Your NYSC year is work experience. Your internship year is work experience. Your internship month is work experience. Those of us who went for an IT, 3 months IT, 6 months IT, 1 year IT, those are experiences. Even after your school days, after your school months, your school work, you help your parents to manage their businesses, or you volunteer for certain stuff, even within your local church, mosque. Those are easiest. You package them and present it in a manner that shows that yes, you have really done that, and put your key achievement, even if it's one or two. Let it be that you put the key achievement. Then after this session of work experience comes the next section, which I tagged leadership. The next section I tagged is leadership. If you have been in any leadership position, you are in your school, you are a departmental president, secretary, a treasurer, as the case may be. In your religious group, you hold a leadership position. During your service year, you are a CDS president, you are secretary, and stuff like that. You have held a recognized leadership position. Let it appear on your CV. Let it appear on your CV. Now, before I round up this session, please, if there is any question you have as regards to CV writing, please drop it on the comment section so that I will be able to handle it before I end this nice section on CV writing. Now, if there is any, if you have been in any leadership position whatsoever, you now have to put it under the leadership section. This one is optional. If you have not been in any leadership position, then there is no need of you putting your leadership section. Whether it's religiously related, academically related, politically related, any recognized leadership position, you put it there. Then the next aspect in that, okay, under the leadership, how do you write it? You write the position you have. You are the president so association in this location. The year you started and the year you ended. Very, very important. President, secretary, treasurer, FinSec, as the case may be, different position you have held, but please, not the class rep. Not class rep or class monitor. Those ones are not really elected position. They don't have a certain constitution that guides them. They don't have a certain principle they work by. So they are not recognized. So don't go and use a class rep or a class prefect. No. Okay, now on that aspect, after that, the next is award. If you have received any award, best graduating students, best performing student, in your local church, mosque, religious body, any recognized award from a recognized institution. Maybe you are given a charity award due to your community service, an NGO gave you an award. Those awards, you put it there on your CV under award. Award of meritorious service, award of this, award of that. Let it reflect on that section called award. Now, after that, if you have done any research or publication, you know not any research that is being published. You have written any article that is being published. You have done any publication. You have written any book and published it. Research/publication. Let it reflect under this section called research/publication. You have done a research and published. You have done any book and you have written any book and published. Even if you publish it, and when written, when published, you put it there under research/publication. Very important. And then if you can speak language, your native language and English, if you can speak more than two languages, your native language and English, then you have a section we call languages. If you can speak English, you can speak French, you can speak Spanish, German, you can speak other native languages. Like I'm Igbo, I can speak Igbo. If I can speak Yoruba, I can speak English, I can speak Hausa. Then I'm multilingual. Then I put under that. It's an advantage. And that's a very strong advantage. I put that languages. I can speak Igbo, I can speak this, I can speak that. So it has under the session languages. Now, after that, remember from leadership, award, research/publication languages, these ones are optional if you have any of these. And I need to state this, that your resume ends at the skills, at your work experience. For those of us who are looking at, if I'm to write a resume, how do I prepare a resume? Your resume follows this format, that it stops at work experience. It doesn't care for all these award, research, publications, and leadership sessions. No, that's where it ends, and then you put in referees available on request. But a CV is more detailed. That's why it can be more than 2 pages. A CV is more detailed. That's why it can be more than 2 pages. Now, having said this, the next after this is where we have hobby/interest. This is another interesting place in CV. Don't just go and put anyhow hobby. Don't just go and put anyhow hobby. On this section, put hobbies that are related to the job. Don't go and say hobby playing, you do dancing and singing, and you are applying for a job that doesn't have anything to do with that. No. You are applying for a job of a customer service representative, hobbies like meeting people. You are applying as a business representative, as a business developer, hobby like playing chess, hobbies like playing Monopoly. You are applying as maybe a broadcaster. As a broadcaster, you are applying as a secretary. You are applying as a personal assistant. Hobbies like playing Scrabble. Those are hobbies you use. These hobbies, the hobbies that have relationship with the job you are applying for. Don't just go and put anyhow hobby. Most of us make mistakes. This is where skilled recruiters goes to look out for to know responsible candidates. I'm giving you this key this night. Please don't joke with this. This is where experienced recruiters goes to look out for under your hobby/interest. You know the kind of personality. Does your interest, does your hobby align with what we do? You are applying as a salesperson, you are applying as a sales professional. Your hobbies like traveling, because it will require you to be traveling from place to place. So hobbies like traveling, meeting people is very, very important. So under this section, hobby/interest, you use a hobby that have a high relationship with the job. Don't go and put any hobby. Like I remember someone in an interview, he said his hobby is playing football. Hobby playing football. And football doesn't have anything that it relates with the job. So please get this. What makes one to be distinguished from another are little things. So in that section, hobby/interest, put hobbies that are related to the job. Then finally, as we wrap up this section tonight, tomorrow we continue in this job interview series and management combo masterclass. Finally, on the CVs writing sections is your reference. Majority have told you to put that available on request. Yes, I do that for some persons, but as a fresh graduate, I always recommend, note this, jobs are different by geographical locations. The way the labor market works in Nigeria by geographical locations. The way the labor market works in Nigeria is different from the way it works outside Nigeria. This is something We have to understand. This is something we have to understand. And if you are watching us even outside here, please understand how the labor market of your jurisdiction works. Don't use the system of another jurisdiction to come and apply in your own jurisdiction and then you shout, yes, I didn't get the job. For example, in the UK, in the US, an applicant can ask any question. An applicant can ask, must I work overtime? An applicant can ask, do I need to work during the weekends? But here it's not really obtainable. You don't go front to ask such questions. So when we get to understand the jurisdiction we are, then we understand there are certain things that are obtainable. That's when I teach these things, I try to bring this thing to light for us to understand that what works in India is not what can work in Nigeria. There are general terms, but what works in India is different from what works here. What works in UK is different from what works in the US. There are different dynamics. So under this referee section, please understand this, that under this section you need to understand that is kind of important for fresh graduates. I remember reviewing a CV, and one of the person in that CV puts there a referee that is a dean of a faculty in a school where we are looking to get access for a training opportunity. Now your guess is as good as mine. If the guy has a referee who is a dean in the faculty where we are working to get access into, then your guess is as good as mine. So I encourage, especially if you know some persons who knows you, that can defend you, that can speak good of you, and you know that the person has some social capacity. What I mean by some social capacity, some social influence. Meet the person, plead with the person. I'm submitting my CV to so please. Please, I want to use you as part of my referee. My name is so this. I'm sending it to this so company in case they call you. Sir, please permit me. That person's influence might get you that job interview call. This is something most of us don't know. This is something most of us fail to understand, especially fresh graduates. And you are told that place is not necessary. There is not necessary for you. Just put it available on request. When they need it, they will ask you to provide it. But if I'm reviewing a CV and I see someone who has in his or her referee someone of a status that we are even looking at to meet, your guess is as good as mine that that person will mostly to call the person for an interview and see how we can get the person into the team so that it will make it easy for us to assess such person we want to see. So for fresh graduates, I round up this night. Don't leave that section unattended to. The section of referees. Use 2 referees. 2, those who knows you, those who can defend you, those who can speak good of you. Inform them, seek their permission, let them give their approval for you to use their name on your CV and then use it on your CV. Fresh graduate, I strongly recommend this. It works. I strongly recommend this. It works. Tomorrow I will be dealing with on the section of strategies of even applying for companies that did not present job adverts. How you can go about to apply for a job for companies that even they did not place any advert and then get to work in that company. By tomorrow, I will be dealing with that strategy. I will be unveiling that strategy that you can use, especially those of us that are still serving in the NYSC, that you can use that to even secure an employment even before your service finishes. That is, by tomorrow, I will be dealing with that. If you know anyone, even among your colleagues, that needs this, let the person be available to tomorrow. I will be unveiling that secret. There are 3 deep secrets to this. I will be dealing with that tomorrow, and tomorrow promises to be great. Thank you for being available for tonight's section. If you have any question as regards to CV writing, on Monday will be the practical section. So get yourself ready. Monday is the practical section. Tomorrow we'll be dealing with how the strategies of securing job is within 3 months. On Monday will be a practical section where I will be taking you guys by hand. We'll be doing it practically. By God's grace, you'll be seeing my screen. We'll be doing that practically, and then we move from there. You get your CV prepared, get your CV ready for that job interview to submit and get that job interview call. I want to appreciate us for being with me this night. I really appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you. Feel free to drop your question on the comment section. I will really attend to it. If there is any job interview question you are having difficulty for, please drop it, because during the section of interview question and answers, I will be able to handle that. Thank you, and do have a lovely night.